Hey, I'm Tim Chaisson, and you are watching the AU Review.
Well, welcome back to Australia.
Yeah, good to be back.
Has it been about a year since you were last here? A little less than that?
Yeah, it's been about a year since I've been here, and I couldn't wait to come back, and this is the perfect time to be here. It's beautiful. Yeah.
You're
Sweet.
skipping the Canadian winter, as we were saying
Yes.
before.
Yeah, very happy to be doing that right now.
So I guess talk us through the year to now. Obviously, there's some new music, but I guess let's talk through the kind of touring experiences you've had since we last saw you.
Yeah, well, when I got home, I guess it was like probably last November that I got home. I did a few opening slots in Canada, actually, with some really great acts. Like, it's played some amazing venues, and then did a stretch of shows of my own. Like, I did South by and a few other festivals, and recorded a record, I guess. That was kind of what took up a lot of time, writing and demoing at home, and then actually finally recording it just north of Toronto. Actually, I did it in the spring, and then the summer's been full of festivals, and even having another band called the East Pointers, a traditional Celtic band that I play fiddle in, and yeah, it's been a crazy year.
So at what point did the Celtic Project start?
Well, it was funny last winter. Cody, who's here with me, we were just talking about like how much, like obviously singing, songwriting is my main focus, and but we were talking about playing some tunes and getting together, and with a friend of ours, Jake Sharon from Canada, as well, and yeah, it just kind of turned into this like way busier than we thought, and more kind of a demand for Celtic music than we thought. So we're doing a tour after this tour is done. So we'll be in Australia extra amount of time, which is fine by me. Yeah.
No complaints.
Yeah.
No complaints from us either. And let's talk about the record now. You said you ended up north of Toronto for it.
Yeah. So I did the record with Bill Reynolds, who plays in Band of Horses, who I've been a huge fan of for a long time. Actually, the first time I was in Australia, I went to go see Band of Horses play with Kings of Leon, actually. So just to be able to work with him was awesome. A great guy, wicked. Like, just as soon as we had our first conversation about making the record, that was whenever we were like, okay, we have to do this together. So we spent like a little more than 2 weeks in the studio, and then it got mixed in Toronto as well. And yeah, it was a blast making it with him.
So when you go into a studio like that and you've got songs ready to go, how much does that 2-week period change the sound?
Yeah. Well, I was as prepared as I could have been. Like I set up a little studio at home, and just kind of demoed everything like as close as I could get it, and some full band stuff, some acoustic, and but yeah, over a 2-week period, it kind of things can shift, and like I had the guys that played on my record, like even having their influence in drummer, guitar, bass. Bill played bass on the record. Just all four of us were kind of like the songs take shape, but the songs are there, and then just like the instrumentation and the production can change over the time period. But we kind of like 2.5 weeks you think is kind of a long time, but it's not really whenever you get in there and get sounds and play around with the song a bit. It's yeah.
Did anything surprise you about yourself in that process, kind of when you're going into that environment? Yeah,
well, it was kind of cool because the way that Bill works, it was like, it was really everybody was involved, and it wasn't like him or I were like calling all the shots. It was just like totally a collaborative effort. So yeah, it was it was like full on, like all day every day for 2.5 weeks. So it was pretty intense.
And now I imagine there's a year of touring in the planning.
Yeah, it's Australia. Then I just finished doing the UK. My record's not out there yet, but so I did the UK and Australia. Then I'll go back to Canada and do Canada and the US for the rest of the year. So yeah, big territories to cover.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sure every time you get down to Australia, you're getting to explore new areas.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I'm going to Tasmania this time, which I've never been there, so I'm pumped for that. Yeah.
I've never even been there. So
oh, is that right? Yeah. Cool.
You're doing better than most locals. Musically, will kind of this record influence the way you do things in the future, do you think? Is this kind of in terms of the sort of people you work with and the sort of way you
yeah. Well, I'm pumped for this one. It's working closer with Universal Music on this record, and ABC. Like they've been great. Like the way that I kind of wanted to make this record was like I did my last one. It was pretty rootsy, raw. that kind of idea. But this one, it's a little bit more kind of polished. Like we spent a bit more time on the production of it. So just that alone, like kind of opening up, maybe I guess you could say a little bit more of the mainstream audience, if that makes any sense. So yeah, we kind of geared it to, you know, maybe if it was to get played on radio and stuff like that. But it's not like the songwriting is the same. It's just like kind of putting a little bit more, like a little bit more sparkle on the production was the plan for this one. So yeah, and I love the way it turned out. Like the guy who mixed it in Canada did a really great job. So yeah.
And how does that translate on the stage as a solo artist? Yeah,
well, that's one of the things that I wanted to keep in mind, because I do a lot of touring on my own, and a lot of times I'll do it with a band, but yeah, it's not like it's really at the song. It's an acoustic guitar and a voice, so that's the main thing. It's not like having a lot of different sounds and stuff that you can't, you know, reproduce or whatever. But yeah, I think generally if I was to play these songs with the acoustic guitar, they still seem to translate, which is the goal, I guess. Yeah.
Well, it's great to have you back.
Yeah.
Congratulations on the record.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir.
See you next time.
Yeah, cheers.